Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us again. I see a lot of people are still kind of trickling in, so we're going to give it a couple minutes and then we'll get going. Today we have an exciting topic, a new product we're really excited to share with you. So I hope you guys are as excited as we are. We have a few more guys to come in. Then I just turn on my camera to be able to say hi. As you guys know, we've all been sort of talking into the ether with no faces, so I can't see you guys, but at least I'll say hi so you know there's a human on the other side. But I will turn it off so my big head is not in the way of the presentation, and then we will get going. So I think we have pretty much, big chunk of folks here in, so let's get going. Let me turn off the camera so it's not in your way, and we can start the official presentation. There you go. Okay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Slavi Younger. I'm one of the co-founders of Frush. If you're not familiar with Frush, Frush is an acoustical company, acoustical manufacturer. We make products that range from ceilings to walls to lighting, as well as dividers and a few other things. The item we are talking about today is called LINYFELT. This has been in development for a while. This is one of the ones that we are really excited about, just because the huge range of applications that the product offers to us. Not to mention, we actually have had so many questions. Actually, I understand some of you guys, if you have any A&D companies joining us, some of you guys already included in your product, in your project specifications before we even officially released it, so we very much appreciate it. So what's so great about the LINYFELT? I'll go into how it's built and what it does for acoustics. However, what's really awesome is its flexibility. It can be a wall product, it can be a ceiling product, and which really essentially can very much control how much of it you can get in a space and what that final look will be like. So what are the important features? Number one, installation. We actually will go into installation a little more because we very much spend a lot of time in this area. Why is that? Because we know, and you guys know, that oftentimes a big part of the cost of a project is the installation. So how do we make it easy, simple, and direct so it doesn't take a lot of time? Will dramatically also affect what the overall project will cost. That's one. The other thing, and we'll go into it too, all the different options, how it can be installed. It can be installed into Unistrut. It can be installed into a T-grid. So we'll definitely look at how you can revamp existing T-grid. We all are familiar with the drop ceiling grid. It's one of those that's been around for a long time, and how you can very much make the ceiling refreshed or very different, or even for a new installation, if you're comfortable working with a T-grid. It's an inexpensive and well-known way to go and create a new ceiling. Customizations. A lot of colors to choose from. There's 34 different colors you can go, and 4 different heights. So we'll talk a little more about that. And final thing is, as I mentioned, walls and ceilings, or walls and ceilings, right? So you can combine it. But sky's the limit to what you can do. So let's kind of first take a look at what you can do specific to ceilings. So with ceilings, the photos I chose here are sort of the clean standard look. One beautiful things about LINYFELT is it can be sort of something that is little different than just a sheetrock ceiling or a drop ceiling, a little more innovative. However, it can make it subtle enough that it can go for miles, right? So it's something that it's not so over the top that either doesn't fit within the space or is something you would not want to have in an entire building, right? So that's kind of the subtlety of it, if you like. However, if the other option is, if you like the idea of playing with color, right? Your ceiling is going to be the sort of the point to catch the attention. Playing around with colors will definitely give you that look, but you can also play around with the heights, right? So as I said, we have 4 different heights of the product. What you see in the photo on the left is what it would look like if you actually incorporated all 4 different heights in one project. So there's 2 things you can do with heights, right? If you dealing with higher ceiling and you have the room to do the higher LINYFELT, obviously you're introducing more material, therefore you're providing more acoustical performance, right? So there's a performance aspect to it. Second thing is, you can kind of play around if you want the highs and lows. You can decide, okay, I'm going to use 2 colors, 2 heights, three heights, and also the way you alternate it can definitely change the way it will look. So, if you guys done this with us before, we love our poll questions. It really kind of helps us sort of know how you guys feel. So the first question we have for you is, what do your clients think about the design aesthetics of a drop ceiling? So we're curious to see what you think. So I opened it up, and the options are: they love it, don't think they don't think they can afford anything else, hate it with passion, or it just simply doesn't come up. So super curious to where you guys stand and what comes up for you. When you're building, there's drop ceilings everywhere. But the moment you spend some time with the architects and designers, the ceiling is constantly something that we hear about, right? It's sort of even designers, like, they wish they could do something else, something more creative. If you don't do drop ceiling, it also opens up the possibilities to different lights you can do, which you can't if you with a grid. You are limited to sort of what fits within the grid as far as lighting as well. It certainly has been a very interesting gamut when it comes to that. Okay, about 38% of you voted, so let's just see what we got. Oops, sorry, I probably clicked something wrong. Apologies. Okay, so let's just close it and go to the next thing. So here's what you guys said. You guys said that 27% love it, 31% don't think they can afford anything else, 15% absolutely hate it, and 27% of you guys said it does not come up that much. So I suspect we don't have that many ceiling folks maybe on the things, because it's a very interesting breakdown. Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool to see. Sorry about this. I got distracted here because the screen is doing funky things. So yeah, that's really, really good to see. Really good to see. So so that was our first question. So let's keep going. So let's talk a little more about the application, right? So why do we keep bringing up the drop ceiling grid? And please don't hold me exactly to the price points, but what I can tell you is that really stood out to us really at the beginnings of starting Fresh was one of seasoned architects told us. They said, the real problem is that, and this was 5-6 years ago, real problem is that the average if you're doing drop grid ceiling or some sort of a basic option, you are in the realm of about $4 per square foot. But then there was nothing really available outside of that until you start getting into $40, $50, $60 per square foot, right? Dramatic difference. The middle was sort of empty, at least that was sort of his perception, right? So he was talking to us, if we can figure out ceiling options that are sort of in the $15 to $25, that's really the sweet spot. That is where the vacuum is. That's where we need a little more possibility. So pretty much everything we do kind of fits within that category. But that conversation kind of stuck with us with the idea. It's like, it's drop grid is proven technology, right? It works really well. It's very accessible. It's really easy to do. So what do we do if we want some sort of a different look, right? So something like the LINYFELT, and we actually have a few other things coming, that can really let you customize the space to whatever you want. One thing, if you do end up doing a drop grid, a LINYFELT on drop grid, it actually also allows you to change the direction, like you see in this photo, right? You don't have to keep it linear if you don't need to, right? So you can certainly create some additional interest that way as well. So let's look at the walls. In walls, the application is very similar to the walls. We have these proprietary brackets that snaps to the wall, and then the material snaps into it. The reason I'm not going that much into the hardware and the and how it installs is because actually I cornered Gary and filmed him to give a quick presentation for you guys, so I can play this. So the true professional and the brain behind how it came together will exactly tell you how this works. But the installation is incredibly simple, which you guys will see in a little bit. Again, customizations, as we said, you can the LINYFELT come in 8-foot lengths. They can come in different lengths if you already know what it is that you need for the space. However, you can also cut it in the field, which we know that's a really big deal. Not all spaces are created equals. There will be things that you need to go around in a ceiling, from the wall, of course, sprinkler systems and things like that. And you can cut this material PET with a sharp box mat. That's really much essentially it. The other thing that the other option that you have is you can actually fill in the spaces in between the LINYFELT ribs. There's two reasons for it. This is a good way to hide the hardware. So there's places where the hardware sort of kind of looks cool and makes sense. If you're looking for a sleek look, it's something you may want to cover up. What you can do with the hardware, just to touch on that, it comes in two colors. It comes in white and black. However, it also can obviously be painted. So what we've seen as application is, installing the hardware, painting it to the same color as the wall, sort of makes it disappear. But also the other thing is you can certainly fill it in. This particular wall, and this is sort of where we're talking about that we spend a lot of our time to make sure the installation is as easy as possible. This wall took 30 minutes to install. You install a couple of brackets and then the rest will just snap in. And I will show you here in a little bit on the videos I mentioned how that is. And this is just a quick look at what does it look like when you actually treat the walls and ceiling and create one of the kind continuous look, right? So this is sort of an idea here. Okay, one more question, and then I will leave you alone with all the questions. This one is, in recent times, are you working on a more new construction or more remodel refresher projects? I'm super curious to see what you guys say, because I can tell you that for us, it has been a pretty dramatic shift since COVID happened. We spent pretty much almost all of our time on new construction, and now we are assisting our clients a lot with helping their clients with going back to work and school after COVID, after COVID, and then a lot of, hey, we were going to move, we changed our mind because there's just so much is changing, and trying to make the old space work for them. And it looks like you guys are still answering, but it looks like you guys experiencing identical thing to us. 71% of you said it is a remodel refresher project. So pretty dramatic difference, right? From new construction, that's only 28%. So yeah, pretty big difference between the two. We kind of see the same thing for sure here as well. Okay, so finally, the installation. The installation instruction will be the video that I'm going to play for you. It is just Gary kind of going through it. It's about a couple minutes long, but I think it kind of addresses all the different things that when it comes to how does it actually go on. So here you go.
Hi, I'm Gary with Fresh, and I'd like to introduce you to our LINYFELT ceiling family. This is the LINYFELT that will mount to a standard key grid. Of course, there's also the option to mount our brackets to a sheetrock ceiling as well. But I want to show you the ease of how this gets installed, starting with, we would call it a new construction way of doing it, which is attaching our LINYFELT bracket directly to T-grid, and we'll provide these brackets to you in either black or white. Same thing with the screws, will either be a black base or a white base. And you always have the option for new construction to go back and have your contractor just spray the whole T-grid ceiling. So this will all be blended in and matched in. But once you have your brackets onto the T-grid, you simply just have your LINYFELT, and this will be up in the ceiling, and you just press it in. And the spacing for this particular model allows you 8 on a 2-foot section. So you can either do this on a 2x2, or these come in 8-foot lengths, and you can stretch this across an 8-foot part of your ceiling. If you do happen to mess up on installing the LINYFELT into the brackets, again, because the spike brackets, they're meant to be put in one direction and then not be able to pull out. But if you do mess up and you kind of get the location off, the only way to really do this is to bend the bracket out a little bit on one side, and that allows the LINYFELT to disengage. And then these will bend back into place like that. So once you have that, you can reinstall the piece. Just push it in. So what you end up with is an element like this that's mounted up into the ceiling, hung by wire as any standard T-grid. The other way to mount these brackets is more of a retrofit. So if you have existing T-grid and you'd like to install LINYFELT into the ceiling, we have these little clip-on brackets here. And I have the brackets in black here, but this is our white LINYFELT bracket here. And then we also have these joiner brackets. So this allows you to join the little 12-inch sections together, so you have a continuous run of these brackets. Let me just demonstrate on one little section here. So this hardware is just standard quarter 20 hardware, which will provide you. And again, your contractor paint over this so it all blends together into one color. So I'm demonstrating here on just a little 36-inch strip, but you can do this on an 8-foot long piece as well. So once you have this built up, your T-grid is already up in the ceiling. And these just clip on to the T-grid, like so. And then from there, you just take your LINYFELT pieces, and again, you just clip them into the little spike brackets. Very easy to put up. So if I can show you a finished product. All right, so here's a little 4x4 section that we put up using the retrofit clips. So this was an existing, very tired and old T-grid drop ceiling. We just left the ceiling panels in there. Of course, you can always leave it exposed, take the panels out of there. But here you can see the LINYFELT brackets are just clipped right onto the T-grid, and then you just put the fins right into here. This is actually a different family called Vibe, but it's installed the same way you would install LINYFELT.
Okay, that was it. I hope that was super helpful and made great sense, probably better than I could explain it. By the way, since you guys kind of got a peek into our whole office is a really R&D, because you probably could tell, like the first shot Gary was in, that's our war room where we have meetings, but it's all the projects we work on, all the different things. The office looks completely different from week to week, depending what's going on, what we're testing, what our customers needing. So that's kind of what was that. But you could see how simple it certainly is. So let's just touch on really quickly on acoustics. You guys already know everything we make at Frage is made out of PET acoustical felt. PET is highly sound absorbent. It rates as 0.75 NRC as the raw material. If you spend any time with us and you saw some of our classes on NRC and how it's all calculated, you know that because we folded this material, therefore we can get more square feet of the material in a smaller footprint. We have increased the performance. Plus, if you think of since it's folded, as you see on the right, photo, we are having all these air cavities, right? There's all that space where the sound gets to, where the sound can get trapped. Price point, I kind of touched on it before. We are very proud on where we were able to bring this out. I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. I do believe we come a little cheaper for comparable products in the space, so that's great. And there might be others, but we might be the only ones that have this many colors that we offer for this particular product. So all of our collection is available. This is made out of 9mm material, so highly sound absorbent. One thing I forgot to say early on, which I always forget to say, if you have any questions, just type them in, because we will take those and go through them at the end really quickly. So if there's something on your mind, type it up, and we will definitely answer them at the end. Couple last slides that do become important: cleaning and disinfection, especially when it comes to walls, right? It's very important. One thing is, as first cleaning, because PET is not an organic material, you don't need to worry about humidity or it changing shape at the end, right? It's made out of plastic water bottles. So as far as cleanability, it's very forgiving, it's very robust. It really holds up incredibly well. When it comes to disinfection, another great news is you can clean PET to the CDC's requirements in order to disinfect it against COVID and other diseases. You actually can clean it with a bleach water mixture to clean it, or really any other disinfectant that says that it's appropriate for sort of fabrics, and it's appropriate for like things like Lysols and things like that will actually do the trick. The only difference with this versus hard surfaces, you spray this instead of wipe. Sustainability, I know this comes up a lot. As all of our products, you can, they have a declare label, red list, free labor, REACH, HPD, and many others. It's environmentally very friendly. It's 100% recyclable at the end of its life. It can help your customers reach, again, lead points, and on and on. So all very good stuff. And this is just a couple teaser slides I want to show you. So what's coming soon is our LINYFELT Wave, which is very similar to what Gary was showing us first install. The difference is we're still testing this, but it's not far away, is that the sort of a straight piece, it actually gets attached on a piece that has been bent to give you this kind of movement, organic feel as you see here. And one more thing, we're also expanding our LINYFELT into the divider world. This one here is actually our divider that also has the wavy feel, but we are developing ones that are straight, as well as one that is a half round. So definitely keep an eye open for all the other things coming down the pike as well that have to do with our little LINYFELT series. So that is the end for me. We can answer some questions now that came in from you guys. It always makes it tricky for me to see it. I'm not sure why. Laura, do you want to read the questions that have already came in? See that we can.
Yeah, sure. I think the main question is, what requirements are there for sprinkler heads?
Oh, so there's a couple. So with sprinkler heads, you wanna lower them below the LINYFELT. It's kind of a similar thing as if you were using really any other ceiling. They need to be below this the LINYFELT. There is, because you can cut this stuff in the field. If you're also actually kind of wondering about how do you cut around sprinkler heads, all kinds of other things, you actually can make these adjustments in the field and use the same bracketry, to hold it up. I hope I answered that.
Also, yes, we will make the video available on YouTube and online. And the estimated square foot cost of LINYFELT. Do you have that on hand, Slavi?
Yes, I do. So it starts at $14 per square foot. So because they're sold, with the bracket, so you can figure out per square foot. I know comparable one starts at 16.18, made out of 3mm PET versus 9. So that's one price point I have for you. Any other questions? Yeah, so yes, we will make all this available. We record all the webinars we put up. We do make them available on our website. We do know that it does help to have the installation videos as well. So we are slowly building the series of that. We'd like to hear from you if filming it like literally the amateur way, as you saw today, is a-okay for you guys. We can do it that way a little quicker than sort of a studio type thing. It's how can we get the info to you guys the quickest we can. If not, we can certainly do that. There's a is 13, 14 square foot list? No, that's a net. That's a net price. 13, 14 is a net price. Oh, actually, you know what? Hold the phone. Actually, you know what? I will get back to you. I just memorized the 13, 14 price, and it's a very good point. I need to double check to make sure if it's one or the other, but we'll definitely write you back and let you know. Okay, so that is that. If you have any more questions that come up, you know how to reach us. As far as reaching me, it's sy@frasch.co. You can always email at hello@frasch.co for any questions that you may have. We're very excited about our new adventure here, our new product, and we're super excited to work with you on your next project where we get to incorporate some LINYFELT. Thank you so much and have an awesome day.